I don't know why this isn't talked about enough, but S-Hawk might really be a contender for world's greatest swordsman. We've seen this dude throw swords with Zoro, fight off against Blackbeard, and even though he didn't do any damage, cutting a mountain in half when it wasn't even your intended target is still kinda crazy. But on top of all of that, he has a devil fruit that also allows his entire body to be a blade, and you put it in the hands of the dude that has the DNA of the world's greatest swordsman. If you're talking about potential, he can potentially be even better than Mihawk. And just in case you think that the Dice Stage fruit isn't that great on its own, let me remind you a couple of things about Mr. One. Despite the fact that he was introduced pretty early in the series, his sword skill was already known across the world more than Zoro's. And ironically, the person that let us know about that was Mihawk. Keep in mind, when Mihawk was trying to cut down Luffy at Marineford, a couple of swordsmen that had fought Mihawk in the past ran up on him. They talking big like, you remember me because you did A, B, and C to me in the past. Only for Mihawk to cut them down right afterward, being like, I never remember the name of trash. Like, he's putting emphasis that if you are trash to him, he will not even bother attempting to remember your name. But right after that, we see Bones intercept a swing that was going for Luffy, and he does manage to block it. And then sure, with the very next hit, Mihawk does take down Bones, but he does say, Bones, right? Very quick, but these 3 words alone showcases that Bones is better than majority of the people that Mihawk has ever fought. Like, him losing in this second swing right here should not be used to showcase that he's weak or something. When by Mihawk's own words, Bones is not even considered trash because he does actually remember his name. So even without him having Haki at the time, he was good enough with this Devil Fruit and his sword skill to make Mihawk go, you know what? I'll remember this dude's name. I want to see him more in the future. And it's to the point, I think if Bones were to awaken his Devil Fruit or at least get like some basic armament Haki, he could be a real problem like to this day. So when you look at somebody like S-Hawk who has the DNA and the aptitude of Mihawk, the world's greatest swordsman, and even the Devil Fruit of a dude that Mihawk holds respect for, S-Hawk may mess around and be like, a contender. Now, am I saying he's going to be one? I don't know about all that, but he is still itty bitty. And considering they were made not too long ago, I'm going to assume that his level of growth is more than that of a normal human. So give him, 3 to 5 years to grow a little bit more, or have him come in contact with Bonnie while on her side, and it's that dude, for that moment, will be the greatest swordsman in One Piece, even over Mihawk. Because at that point, it's just a combination of Bones, King the Wildfire, and grown Mihawk at the same time. Now, while it's true that the Seraphim don't have the same level of experience as their Warlord counterparts because they haven't lived the life to gain that experience, but the Seraphim do have a lot going for them that allows them to circumvent that entire process. Let me explain. So the first thing you gotta understand is that the Seraphim are not organic beings. Thanks to their cybernetic components, they all can shoot light speed lasers from both of their hands and even their mouth. And the second most important part is being part cyborg, their mind works kind of like a supercomputer. We saw in Saturday's episode when S-Hawk was attacking Kaku and Lucci that this is how the world looks through their eyes. You gotta keep in mind, their minds, everything that they can do and think was created by Vegapunk, the smartest man in the world. They all have the cybernetic and mental capacities to be able to process information way faster than normal people can. That's why despite all of these dudes being so young right now, they can still do things like, push back Blackbeard. Slight spoiler for this next part, but that is something even the original Mihawk is not keen on doing. Buggy's telling these dudes we're going after the One Piece, and Mihawk's like, you really expect us to fight with red hair, Blackbeard, and Straw Hat? He ain't trying to do all that. Yet the Seraphim is showcasing that it can do that if it needs to, and it is still a child. So while S-Hawk may have less experience than that of the original Mihawk, because of the way that it and all the other Seraphim see the world, they can gain and process information way faster than any of the original warlords could, including Mihawk. So as they grow older and get a bigger brain, they can process information even faster. If the child Seraphim S-Hawk was able to push back Blackbeard, and we didn't even see him use the Devil Fruit or the lasers right here, what do you think he would have done to Blackbeard if he was, 20 years older? Heck, even 5 years older. And even though he isn't exactly Mihawk, he is still kind of Mihawk. Think back to the first interaction we saw with S-Snake and Luffy. S-Snake showcased the ability to think the exact same way that the original Boa does. And I don't think Oda put this in for no reason. If S-Snake's personality and thought process is the same as Boa, it would only make sense that S-Hawk has the same thought process and mental capabilities that the original Mihawk has. Only difference is he has more tools at his disposal to utilize. Meaning that if the Seraphim were like the same age as their original warlords, they would probably be able to think the same way that they do, but they'll just be way stronger because they can do way more. And honestly, they probably don't even need all of that, because I wouldn't be surprised if Vegapunk just like already implemented that into their subconscious. He is the world's smartest man, and we kind of already saw that. It reminds me of like how Android 18 was able to destroy Vegeta even though he's been fighting and training longer than she's been alive. And that's because Dr. Gero like implemented all the data from all the fights of all the Z Warriors into them, so they already knew how to fight as well, if not better. And with how young the Seraphim are and how strong they've been showcased to be, it is very clear to us that they operate the exact same way. So to make a long story short, they're not only getting like the skills and whatnot from Mihawk's blood, that would be like his aptitude. They're also getting skills and experience from the wisdom of the smartest man in the world that implemented it straight into their brain, and you can't beat that.